He knows my name. And oh, how you walk with me. Oh, how you talk with me. Yeah, it still amazes me that I am your own. So now I pour out my heart to you. Here in your presence I am made new. Oh, so now I pour out my heart to you. Here in your presence I am made new. You know my name. You know my name. You know my name. You know my name. And oh, how you comfort me. Oh, how you counsel me. And it still amazes me that I am your friend. You know my name. You know my name. You know my name. You know my name. Oh, and oh, how you comfort me. And oh, how you counsel me. Yeah, it still amazes me that I am your friend. Oh, yeah, no fire can burn me, no battle can turn me, no mountain can stop me, 'cause you hold my hand and I'm walking in your victory, 'cause your power is within me. No giant can defeat me, 'cause you hold my hand. No fire can burn me, no battle can turn me, no mountain can stop me, 'cause you hold my hand. You hold my hand. You hold my hand. You hold my hand. You know my name. You know my name.
You know my name. You know my name. You know my name. Hey, welcome to Alkebulan Inspirational Sunday. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. I hope y'all had a beautiful week. Hope y'all enjoyed your weekend so far. And now it's that Sunday to get that Sunday lesson. Before we begin, let me not start by without dropping my welcome intro. Yeah. How y'all doing? Last 4 months. Welcome back to Alkebulan Inspirational Sunday. Last 4 months, I've been doing with the battle with the big FB. Yeah. I'm getting so revolutionary. They like quarantining me on certain things, so I can't share everywhere. I can't post everywhere. It's so much that they like trying to limit the rise of the African. This real talk, y'all. And so I'm in right now, like trying to figure out what's going on, and I'm trying to work it out. And I'm gonna work it out on the FB sooner or later. I don't even get off punishment till the next 24 days. But it's okay because when they singling you out, you know you doing something right. That's real conversation. And we're going to get into that on another day, another situation, another circumstance. But we're going to talk about the rise of the African, which is the rise of the African or the awareness of the God in you. That's exactly where we are. That's exactly what we're talking about. And so now, with this being the month of October, want to let you know that this is also our church's anniversary month. And so a couple of lessons we're trying to tie it into anniversary month. Even on the African Speaks, we tied it in on our anniversary month. So we're gonna sit down and we want to say, happy birthday to ya, to our church community, to 69 years of Christian service, the development of Pan African, the mindset, the programming, the integration of African spirituality, the rejection of the European part of what this faith is or isn't, and throwing that out the window, you know. Uh, and allowing us to find our African selves in our expression of our lives daily and our connection to the Creator and the ancestors, its culture, tradition, and spirituality. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. So we welcome you, welcome you, welcome you. And we always ask that if you are watching us via the FB, please hit like, comment, share. When I'm telling you they dropped my postings to the bottom, they changed my algorithm and wrote me and told me about it. Ain't that something? So we're gonna be in the process at the end of this 24-year what they doing to me, we're gonna go back and we got some things coming, some serious things coming before the turn of the year, and so we push and push and pushing for it. I've been working on the website. We're gonna be doing a lot of upgrades there because the rise of the African is for real, and what we're moving into for 23 is going to be incredible, right? So we're going to be looking at a lot of other platforms, as well as creating some serious programming. And so we're going to continue with that. The African in me is manifesting into something different than I was previously. So every day is the development and the growth. And so we're going to continue building. So now also, if you're watching us on YouTube, we're going to ask you, please hit the subscribe button and a notification bell. And so that way, anytime that we go live online, you will be able to get that. And we're going to start also pushing harder on using the YouTube descriptions and the concepts of creating that algorithm on YouTube to build those numbers as well. And we're going to be looking to partnership with a lot of different groups, a lot of different organizations, and I've been working on one. It's hopefully we'll be able to manifest that way before the year is over with and we start. We're going to be in the process of I'm uploading all the classes from the African history class, all the classes from the African spirituality class to the World of Akibaland website. So you'll see that we're going to be uploading all of the Afro Stream news feeds to the World of Akibaland website. So we've been doing so much, but it's only right now technologically is me. And so when we get a chance to be able to train the kids, and that's what we're going to about to be doing next, which is having that training class for the kids at home. So if y'all interested in having y'all kids learn this, contact the brother, right? The Reverend, the Walamu, the black man, I Jade African. So we're gonna get this started. Now, always we want you to let you know that if you're everything that we do is based off of our ancient covenant with God, that promise that He gave us, and if He'll be our God, if we'll be His people. And so we are all in the process of trying to be the people of God. That's it. Not the person, not the individual, not the one soul, not the solo artist, but the people of God. And everybody plays their part in this covenant. Everybody. And so it is always important that you figure out how to play your part. Now, I sit down and I had some conversations with some individuals this week talking about my part, the part I play in this covenant. And one of the things I always say is, I'm not crossing over without the fulfillment of what I'm supposed to do, whether that be with or without the group. Hopefully, it's with the group, but I'm always focused on making sure that I'm doing my part. And if you want to come and join my part, because if my part is a piece of your part, then we have a part together. Let's play it because we're building this covenant promise. Because we know that it's all based off of relationships. It is our relationship with God, our relationship with the creator, with the ancestors, our relationship with the earth, our relationship with each other. Mm. Our relationship with those who will come after us, right? Always those who are going before, which are the ancestors. And so we are, that's deeply, deeply important that we focus on the quality of our relationships, the quality of that bond that we share, that sacred bond. We want to make sure that you can't break it. You can't. Now we can act like it's not there, but it's still unbreakable. But you want to at least acknowledge it and live from it. And so we always, our favorite word is continuity, because we don't live in a period of history where history begins now. No. Our Sasa dates back from the beginning of time. It states back when with the first man working on the planet. We are a continuity of lives where everything that we're doing is connected, and we are fulfilling the grand design of what the Creator would have us be and do on this earth. Continuity. Yes, let's continue the struggle. Right. And so today, with it being Halloween, everybody's getting ready. You go into the stores and you see the candy stacks, you see the decorations, you know what I'm saying? Everybody's talking what you're gonna wear. You see the party invitations coming up. So it's so much coming on. And so we know that Halloween is coming in the month of October. And so in that month of October, as we come in, I sat down and I was like, okay, ancestors, what is it that I'm supposed to talk about? Okay, ancestors, whisper something in my ear that makes sense. What am I supposed to teach? And so a lot of people be thinking like, brother Jay is on it. This ain't me. Most of this is not me. The delivery is me. The presentation sometimes is me, right? The voice, you might hear my voice, you might see my face. But these lessons, not me. They're downloads, ancestral downloads, meaning that I'm getting word to say, hey, this is what I want you to teach today. This is how I want you to display it. And sometimes it comes out exactly the way I see it. And sometimes, it doesn't. But I'm using this to manifest what's next. And so, with it being anniversary month and trying to connect the dots with the experience of us celebrating 69 years of revolutionary Holy Spirit, born anew in each generation, right? Where we are building something for the next generation to be able to deal with the lives that we have in the societies in which we live in, until we can get to a point where we can fully control the elements and the policies, programs, procedures, and the institutions around us. Yes. Can you imagine, black schools being run by black educators who really care about the development of your blackness, not just your academicness, but what is internally drives you. And so with that, we sat down and said, well, that Rise of the African, we want to, take the concept of Halloween, spin it up on us, flip it a little bit, spin it around, roll it up, and we came up with the title today. And I say we because again, I don't do this by myself, right? Be seen life without the disguise. So we know that during the experience of Halloween or All Saints Day or Day of the Dead, however it is experienced around the globe. It's all about you dressing up in a costume or a disguise and having a good time. Now, I know in New Orleans and a lot when they do the Day of the Dead, when they do the Day of the Dead in Mexico, it is to honor the ancestors, right? And that's different than how we're doing it because in America, it's ghoulish. You're not honoring your ancestors. You're ghoulish. And sometimes, so we dress up. And it's gotten to the point where we enjoy putting on the disguise. Real talk. And I don't know about you. I still celebrate, we call it All Saints Day because we wanted to redefine it for our children, right? So I actually enjoy the whole experience because people are having fun with it. And so you will look at things and they're dressing up as cartoons, they're dressing up as vegetables, they're dressing up as movie characters, whatever you can name, you are disguising you, right? And so, and you're going out to be seen. You're trick or treating, and the treat is actually, you coming in, knocking on the door, and we opening up and like, oh, who are you today? And so it's the disguise, right? And it's beautiful. So we're not talking about the disguise of Halloween. We're talking about where people are actually, and well, when you're wearing a disguise and you see the brothers, right? You got the Black Panther because I expect that to be out because that hit a lot of hearts. So a lot of kids should still be wanting to be Black Panther. You see Black Lightning. That is another you know comic hero that's been out. Some people might want to be Blade. Whatever we can do to be us, right? Luke Cage, if everybody's looking at Marvel, if you're looking at somebody else, Marvel, Miles Monroe, which is a futuristic Spider-Man. If you're trying to find images of Marvel of superheroes that look like us, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And it's cool. And the thing is, you want to walk around and you really, you good if you are unrecognized. Mm. And so they're making it feel great to be unrecognized. Mm. Now, the issue is with that is some people are unrecognized in their daily life. Right? Some people walk around with no makeup on, no mask on. They're there, but they're unrecognizable, meaning to a lot of people that just we non-existent. Mm. Where they are feeling invisible. Yeah. Now I want you to see that. See how you see the shoes and you don't see the body, but you see the reflection. So there's somebody there, but there's nobody there at the same time. There's nobody there. And it's one thing for one individual to feel unrecognizable to people. It's a whole thing when you have a generation of people, a generation of kids or people feeling unrecognizable. It's a different thing when a neighborhood or community people are unrecognizable. It's a different thing when a whole race of people are unrecognizable. And when you have a life experience where people are unrecognizable, then that means Every day is Halloween. Woo. Every day people are walking around wearing masks and can't be seen and can't be known. And so when you have that, it's like no, if they see your face, they don't see your face. And in our communities and the way things are happening is like we are living in a life as black people, unrecognized where we're unrecognizable to ourselves, to the other people that see us. And here's the hurt part. We're unrecognizable to God. Mm, mm, mm. Because, and we're going to get into that understanding of, wait a minute. I mean, I see myself touch myself daily, but am I really unrecognizable to the Creator? Woo. And so when you have that experience where people are not honestly them, they're unrecognizable. And so it's real easy to celebrate putting another disguise on top of your disguise. What? Right. That every day. It's easy. And we sometimes it happens and we don't even know it. That transition when people are living more for the world than they are living for the Creator. Every day in your life is Halloween. And I have friends exactly like that. And I be trying to tell them, look, you're not who you're supposed to be. And so when we were playing the song this morning, He knows my name. And I might replay that song. Or this is your homework when this is over. Go play the song for real from Tasha Cobb. Listen to it and experience it. Because what it is saying, He knows my name, means that God recognizes who you are. Now, for the most of us, the majority of us, yeah, if you are not if you, we're going to get this. If you're not living right, if you're not finding out who your best self is, God doesn't know you. He knows you, but He doesn't recognize you. Like if you ever, have you ever drew a picture that after you drew it, you was like, I don't recognize that I drew that. No. Because if you make something, you bake a cake, you bake some cookies, I don't care what the cookie look like, that's the cookie you made. But then after you leave the room, I come in and I take the cookie, I take a hammer, and I break the cookie up, I crumble it up, and I smash it all up, and it ain't nothing but crumbs. You come back to see a whole cookie, but that's not the cookie I made. You're looking at that crushed cookie. That's not the cookie I made. I don't know what that is. But before somebody got to that cookie and crushed it or bit it, you ever had somebody bite your apple? No, I never had nobody do that. But you ever had somebody bite something of yours and you looking down at that sandwich like, that's yo, I didn't do that. Or you walk away, you turn away. I used to do that to my brothers a lot, my sisters a lot, especially my mama, where if they walked away, I would eat their food and they come back and look and know that they didn't, that's not what I left there. And sometimes God says that. That's not what I left there. But in the song, it says He knows my name. So it doesn't matter. So in the space of where we live in a world where everybody is living as though it was Halloween, He knows my name. So we want to talk about living life without the disguise. And you say, well, oh, Brother Jay, what's the disguise? That's when you're being somebody that you're not supposed to be. When you're living a life that you're not supposed to live, doing the things that you're not supposed to do. Every day is your Halloween. God is not familiar with what He created in you. You're looking strange to God. And it's when you look at the Bible, there's always through a Bible where He's telling a righteous man, go find me a righteous individual and I won't destroy the community. Find me one man. And He waits. Why? Because God knows that everybody's living in that community is living like a Halloween is every day. That's not cool. And so this is literally one of my favorite, and I will always go back to this because I want you to understand how to get to that point where You can, you singing that song, and you live in that life experience where God knows your name. You have a life that is not drenched in this Halloween. I need to put on an evil disguise so that God can't see me or people can't notice who I am. Be careful what you choose to dress up, because we want to make sure that when you take the mask off, it's you, right? But then there's gonna be a twist at this, so y'all wait. So now there's a scripture, a brother, Jeremiah. Jeremiah said, "Then the word of the Lord came to me, saying, Before I formed you, in the womb I knew you." Stop. So now you were talking about He knows my name. Before you became you today, you was in spirit, and God knew what He created with you in spirit. And He said, before you were born, I sanctified you, mean I blessed you. You are sacred, you are holy, you will be doing great things. Everybody gets this conversation with God before we come. Everybody. Everybody is blessed to make it here. Everybody. Regardless of how you got here. Everybody. Whether or not your mama stuck around or your daddy stuck around, everybody's blessed. You knew God before you got here. Now, what happened once you got here? Something different. But you don't want to live in a disguise. So you knew God in your beginning. How? And we're going to sit down and say, in your beginnings. Woo. Now, this is you at your most powerful state. People don't get that. This is why when people, if you have individuals who don't like babies, get away from them. I don't do babies. Get away from them. If you have individuals who are not transformed into a more compassionate being when they see babies, get away from them. Arm's distance. Because at this point, you are at your most powerful self. And it is the journey of Worlds of Alkebulan up there in the symbols. And it is the journey of the parent to take that spiritual being that has just been formed into a physical being and move them through life so that in a way that they can remember. See the smile? Why? Because they're at peace. Why? Because at that moment, they're still in conversation with the creator. At that moment, they just got here. They're still in tune with the ancestors. At that moment, they still remember who they were supposed to be and why they were sent here. At that moment. And the only thing that changes that is what they experience when they get here. So that's just you. So the younger you are, literally, the most powerful you are, the most access that you have to the creator. The world likes you to think that, hey, no, you can't be powerful until you're adult. Not true. Jeremiah, I love Jeremiah because when God called Jeremiah, he was young and he said, I can't do this. I'm too young. Hold up, Wally. I knew you before I formed you in the womb. So that light is spirit. God has no hands, but we're going to use this as though that God has hands, but God is spirit. He's a greater spirit. You are a smaller spirit that comes from the greater spirit. So when God makes you from him herself, he places you in a growing form of a being. So you come from here, pure cosmic energy and creative intelligence, to here. When you were here, you knew who God had called you to be, knew who God wanted you to grow up to be, knew what God wanted you to do. And then he got you here, meaning your journey is starting. And so you're going to go through that journey. Now, in that space, Here, we always say God is sending you into flesh. You're a spirit before you become flesh. You're powerful before you become limited. But then there is an unlimited process to who you are in this state. But you have to continue with the understanding. And it is our job to always help you connect to that understanding. And the faster we can get you to connect to the understanding is the quicker you can also understand when I drop these phrases to you. You are God's steam. You are the steam of God. You are God's science. You are God's technology. You are God's engineering. You're God's artwork and his mathematics. You are that powerful. You are literally, and we're going to keep going through this. Now I'm going to start rebuilding up on the steam because we didn't finish that part of the ministry, but we're going to rebuild it. We're going to start with the E, A, and the M because we did the S and the T. But you are the most highly technological being on earth. With that concept, why would you want to put on any other disguise and be something other than what God had called you to be? Why? Not talking about celebrating the holiday. I'm just talking about in general. Because for most people, again, Halloween every day, which is sad. For black people, if you're not fighting to understand certain things about who you are, Halloween is every day. And so what we're asking you to do in that space, how do I make sure that I'm not running from being God's steam, the most sophisticated piece of equipment on the planet? How am I not? It ain't a computer. It ain't an iPhone. It ain't an iPad. I'm sorry. It ain't nothing in NASA that NASA has. It's not the spaceship or the shuttle. Nope. It's none of that. It is the black child, male and female. Why? Because in your DNA structure, there is so much wisdom, science, gifts, talent, that level of technology that is built in the depth of your DNA is wonderful. And so when you get there, and as you grow up and you're in this space, what we're asking you to be is we want you to experience being beautifully just you. And I'm let you sit down. I want you to hear the phrase, "He knows my name." When they're singing that song, it's an understanding that God sees me, he speaks through me, he walks with me, he looks with my eyes, he speaks through my words, he hears with my ears, he loves with your heart. When you are surrendered, you are beautifully you. And now, let's get this. When you're beautifully you, it's not being assimilated into a culture that he didn't give you. Mm, That's not it. Because if you have assimilated deeply into a culture that he didn't give you, every day is Halloween for you. But when you're experiencing your most beautiful self, there are levels to this thing. Self, where things intertwine to make a complete you. And that will start with your cultural identity. Man, if you're not, God made so many different cultures, and every culture understands God in a different way. It's a revered by all, known by many names. Revealed to all, known by many names. Revealed to all, but known by many names. Not to all, because some people, are atheists, but revealed to all and known by many names. Culturally, what culture did God place your spirit in when he made you into flesh? People of black people, you cannot deny your African culture, your African traditions. You can't, your African history, your African heritage. It's a part of who God called you to be. When he formed you, when he said, I knew you before I formed you. And when I formed you in the womb, I gave you a culture. Now, I'm not talking to the Asian man because they culture. I'm not talking to the Irish. No, I'm not talking to anybody because they got theirs. Even Greeks got Greek school before they go to American school. We, African Americans, we don't have African American school or African school before we go to regular school. So all we learn about ourselves in school is what they want us to know. But it's up to us as a community to bring that cultural identity. Then you have that gender identity. What's going on in the world today with this? You got to understand what God created you to be. Period. And that's all I'm going to say about that. We're not going to start no arguments. You want to, and don't matter what you do with it. Just you is acknowledging who God created you to be. That's it. Racial identity. People will be like, I don't see race. That means you're prejudiced. God created everything and everyone, every culture from one genetic strand, which is African genetics, came all cultures, and they went to live in all different areas. They migrated. We did this in African history class. How did the world get populated? We did this in Africa, man. Don't tell me y'all ain't seen them African history classes. So we're gonna have to post those on the website so y'all can play catch up and we should jump back in it. Then you have your religious identity, right? Your religious identity. How did God create your culture for you to understand the spiritual environment in which you live? And there's a lot of different ones. Why? Because that one controls the whole image of what God can be. I'm sorry, but your faith is your faith. That don't mean you knock somebody else's faith because God didn't give them that culture. Gave them something different. Now let's look at the truth according to history and life, mathematics and science. Right. So when you're talking about math identity and a science identity, we get back to STEAM. God's science, God's technology, God's engineering, God's arithmetic or artwork, or agriculture. God's mathematics. A is for art and agriculture. Then M is for mathematics. That whole thing, right, will get you the understanding of what math identity and science identity is. That's just knowledge itself of what the flesh is and what it was created in the time and that you were born, numerology and then everything else around that. The different sciences, how you're genetically made up in terms of chemical wise. Some people we shouldn't even be able to have the same diets because certain bodies need certain things. And so even in the baby, when you see a breastfed baby, and a baby is being breastfed, according to what is in that baby's saliva, it goes and it connects with the mother's milk, and the mother's milk changes and actually gives the baby more of what it needs. And the mother's body can tell what the baby needs by the exchange of the fluids from the mouth. That's the science identity. And so the milk in the breast change so that the baby gets the right nutrients for what they need. Man, we are the most profound, engineered, amazing piece of equipment on the face of this earth. That's beautiful. And so we want to make sure that then you have your social identity. Everything makes up self. All of these things. How are you living? And so we were able to contribute so much to the world, being God's, this theme of God, God's creation. And so he says, when you surrender your thought, because he gave us the power of will, we could do whatever we want to. But God said, I would rather you do, I want you to make the choice to do what I want you to do. That's when he begins to recognize who you really are. Why? Because I see what I created. I gave you the choice to be other than what I created. That's your choice. Understand the power of free will. Woo! It's your co-creating ship. Now you can use your free will to connect with the will of God, or you can use your free will to connect to your selfishness. But when you're connecting to your selfishness, you're not being your most beautifully you. However, to get to that point where you are living life without a disguise, where God feels you within the space and recognizes the energy in which he created in you, and you recognize the energy that governs you. You're hearing the ancestors in the feed. When that happens, easy. When you're just being yourself. You're like, what? First step, be yourself. You want God to know your name, don't pretend in your real life, not in a celebration of a ceremony or name a ceremony, an event, but be yourself in all days. All days. Be who you are, not who you want to pretend you be. And it's just a lot of times people, oh, I had somebody tell me, I used to pretend I was you. Why? Because you was like wasn't scared of nothing. So I know if I could walk out like I'm not scared, I can be you. And I watched a friend get in a fight and really do real bad because he was pretending to be me. No, it's not how you defend yourself. You defend yourself by if you can't fight, you get out of the fight. If you can fight, you defend yourself and you win. And if you don't win, you get up, dust yourself up, and you like, look, at least I defended myself the best I could. What happened to him? But anyway, you got to be you. Don't pretend to be nobody else. Don't walk like nobody, talk like nobody. It is all you. God created everybody's thumbprint. When you sit down and you see your thumbprint, everybody's fingerprint is different. So everybody's personality is different. You might have people where you vibe together and vibrate on the same frequency, but you're still uniquely you. There is only one you. Even when you're identically twins, there's a very fine difference when you see it. Like now, if you take a mirror, and I used to do this when I was a kid just to see it. You take a mirror and split your face, and there's a mirror in front of you, right? Let me turn this way so you can see. Well, this way. There's a mirror in front of you, and you put a mirror on that mirror, and you put your face on that mirror, and you look, and you will notice that your left side of the face is not the same as your right side of the face. Your left side looks one way, your right side looks totally different. So if you had two, when you do that split mirror, you get to see what you would look like if you had two right sides of your faces and two left sides of your faces. It's not the same. So everybody's uniquely different. Be yourself. Can't say no plainer. When you got a family and you got brothers and sisters, you know all your brothers and sisters aren't the same people and they don't act the same. All the kids got different personalities. Be yourself. And be comfortable in your skin. Be comfortable with who you are. Be comfortable with what you see. One love. My daughter, she couldn't run. And she would go out and every kid would be playing tag. And she was like, you know what, Daddy? I'm going to just be it and just chase everybody because ain't no need for me trying to escape because I can't run. Then sometimes she wouldn't even run. She said, running is not for me. I don't care. And she didn't. She was herself. And sometimes she'd play and sometimes she wouldn't. I like to play soccer. I can pass the ball, kick the ball. She had a good time. Jump double dutch. She did that. I don't like riding a bike. Come on, everybody likes riding bikes. I don't like riding bikes. I get a scooter, and then she skipped the scooter. It's different. Be yourself. She was always clear of what she didn't want to do because she knew who she was and what she liked. Be yourself. You want God to recognize you always. Be yourself. Another thing, right, is learn what comes easy to you. Yeah. When you're trying to get to the point where you're taking off the disguise and I think I wanna do this, and you're really trying to do something in this, it ain't easy. That doesn't mean you quit because you can pop with free will, but there's certain things that God put in you that comes easy. That comes like super, super, super easy. That's why we try to have kids try everything because we don't know what God put in you. And as you get older, you forget what God put in you. But some kids remember and just start automatically doing what they do. You know what I mean? Prince, Michael Jackson. It's like music was just you. Dancing was just you. Do what you do. What comes easy, right? God is going to recognize you. Why? Because he said, that's what I did to that kid. For me, when people say, well, what comes easy? They like me playing with, just playing comes easy. Cracking jokes and having fun, kids come easy. Everything technologically comes easy. Just certain, what am I supposed to do with the information I know? You know, I was always artistic, always singing, dancing, writing, coloring, painting, building. I can create it. It's just me. It's just natural. I remember I thought I was gonna be a mechanic because I love math and love building stuff. I could have did it though. I didn't go do the engineer route. I ain't gonna tell you why, but yeah, I wish I would have listened because everybody else saw it. You know. And then when you find out what comes easy, also the next thing is when you're trying to be the most beautiful you, your best self, right? The most beautiful who you are. No disguise, man. No disguise. You gotta love what you do and do what you love. You got certain things that coming out of you by natural, like some kids love to paint, other kids love to draw. You know, some kids love sports, other kids love reading. Love what you do and do what you love. Why? Because that was what was created in you. Everybody is not the same, and that's okay. Don't wear the disguise of everybody else's wearing. Everybody can't, like, we have tons of kids who want to play video games. You like playing video games, but you were not gifted to be an YouTuber, to be famous on YouTube playing video games because it's not your thing. And I've given some kids the platform to see if, yeah, I just want you to see. Why? Because who am I to say yes or no? Well, let me give you the platform and I'm going to watch you. Man, please. Some of the kids I sit down and say, yeah, this ain't for you. And then other kids I'd be like, yo, don't stop. You walking into a new field of billion-dollar industry that's like, oh wow, do what you love and love what you do. Oh, I love playing. Yeah, but it don't really come easy to you. Get that combination. It really don't. You can do what you love what you do, but it don't come easy. That don't mean you can't work at it. So you enforce it. That ain't no I'm not gonna tell you not to. I'm not gonna tell you not to. Some things that you want, you have to work hard for if you really want them. That's the power of free will. You can choose your flow. With Jeremiah said, God, but I don't do that easy. God said, hold up. I'm working through you. When I'm working through you, everything is gonna come easy. Why? Because I'm gonna be talking. I'm gonna put what I need you to say on your tongue. I'm gonna give you the thoughts that you need to think in your mind. I'm gonna give you the visions you need to see through your eyes. I'm gonna be that when you connect with God. And then the minute that you have that working with you, I'm always going to tell you, and we talk about this, let loose your imagination. When you're surrendering your mind, your body, and your spirit to God, then all of a sudden your imagination kicks in, and there you begin to dream the dreams of who you are called to be. Ancestors and the creator, when you sit down and you start to pray, you start to meditate, you go into yourself, you might go to sleep one night and have a dream that you created something. Then think about it. You might have had a dream you was with somebody. Think about it. Don't watch the crazy cartoons before you go to sleep because that'll be a part of your dream. But your ancestors, and God and you are communing in your imagination. And so in that space when your imagination kicks in, like you're gonna be yourself, You're going to look at what comes easy to you and love what you do and do what you love. And you allow your imagination to grow, and then you're producing from your own imagination. And when you produce from your own imagination, you begin to see what's inside you. Jeremiah saw what was inside him. He said, I'm just a child, God. God said, no, not when I'm with you. When I'm with you, you're more than just a child. You are a child of God. And that means you have infinite possibilities. You live life with no disguise. Got nothing to hide because all I can be is my greatest self. And when it hit me, for me, this lesson hit me years ago, and I didn't know I was teaching it today, but I was learning it for myself. Where I was having, I had a friendship with someone who helped lead me, or I allowed. hmm, It's my power. I allowed them to lead me down a road where I didn't know me anymore. And I took a deep breath and I said, I'm gonna be. I can only be who I was called to be. I'm not gonna allow negative experiences from anybody else to lead me in any other way. And I'm only gonna see the divine in me. And I don't have to wait for my crown to be given to me when I'm dead in the spiritual realm or when someone wants to acknowledge it. I'm going to walk with my crown, period. I'm living life without a disguise. And when you do that, that's when you find a life of purpose. That's when you know where to go. That's when you know what to do. That's when no one and nothing can stop you because God and the ancestors will bring everything your way. Mm, say that. And when I say that, I go back to this because sometimes you are the superhero. Kids put on the mask and believe that they feel something great. But when they take it off because the mask is not on, they don't feel something great. Get this. When you're watching a superhero movie, they're not the superhero. Only Tony Stark was the only one who didn't have strength when he put the armor the armor was off, but he had deep intelligence. And his intelligence was manifested when he created the armor. But his strength came from when he put the armor on. Now, when you're dealing with Black Panther, he never needed the suit. The suit was so people, the suit was the disguise. However, when he took the suit off, he was still Black Panther. When Black Lightning takes the suit off, he's still Black Lightning. So sometimes kids place these themselves. You put yourself in a situation where I want to be a doctor, and you wear a doctor's outfit. Hmm, guess what? You were a doctor when God created you, and that's what He called you to be, and that's why you feel that way. When kids dress up and they want to be lawyers, hmm, civil rights movement lawyers, and they was helping Black people everywhere. Guess what? You came into this world, and that was your purpose already. Think about it. When I was little, wait. When I was little, my grandmama used to say there's a spirit on that boy. Mildred, that's my mama. And I remember these in my ears. My mother would always like, you ever heard that conversation? And I remember those conversations and I would repeat the conversations once I started talking. And I remember laying we was at a picnic and I was on a blanket and I told my mother what was happening that day while we was on the blanket. And she looked at me and she was like, "How do you remember that?" And I looked at her, it's like, "Hmm." And I would always remember things that happened when I was little. And I remember as I grew up, my grandmother always told her, "Mildred, there's a spirit on that boy. That boy is either going to be a lawyer or he going to be a preacher." And I remember that growing up through elementary school. I was trying not to be either one. But that means in my younger years in life, I lived with a disguise on. And I said, I want to be who I'm called to be. And when God got me, He's a minister. And my purpose is to minister youth to their higher sense of self. Not just I can do youth, I can do grown people too. So parents, y'all know brother Aj, Reverend Aj, Walamu Aj, he has the lesson for you too. Why? Because I took time to find out who I am in God and realize that God knows my name when I surrender everything I possibly can to Him. So when you hear that song, I want you to think about it. He knows my name. Mm. And so, oh, how He walks with me. Oh, how He talks with me. Tells me I am His own. Mm. You can do that and get to the point where you're living life to be seen by God, to be heard by God, to be walked with God, to have God speak through you, to be the eyes of God. He will, without a shadow of a doubt, know your name. With that being said, let the African in you rise. One love.
He knows my
69 years of Christian service where people fight, struggle, and live with God knowing our name. I'm grateful and thankful for the Pan African Orthodox Christian Church. I wouldn't be me without the PAOCC. One love.